I want to show you one of my all-time favorite chicken skewer recipes. These are the juiciest, most flavorful, and like a perfect combo of veg and meat, all chicken breast, so it's also a very light little kebab to throw on your barbecue spread. And literally I'm doing 4 chicken breasts today. I'll make 8 for my whole family and we'll eat them for like days on end, and we never get sick of them, which I find to be the greatest testament to a fabulous recipe. Okay, so first things first, let's prep the veg. I'm gonna cut up a few bell peppers, and the only trick here is you want to make sure that you're cutting your veg at roughly the same size as you're ultimately going to cut your chicken so that everything cooks evenly. One of my biggest pet peeves is when you cut the veg too big and then the meat can't touch the grill, or vice versa. You want everything equal sized so that everything gets torched by that lovely hot surface. So I'll take a side like this, not that you need to be this persnickety, and cut it into thirds and then cut it into halves. I don't worry too much about the ribs, but you definitely can just go in and cut those out. I find that especially when you're cooking with chicken breast, which obviously is a nice neutral palate, you wanna add lots of flavor, you wanna keep it nice and juicy, and having like an abundance of vegetables and flavorings like the onion along the stick of the kebab is what I think makes everything just taste better. And I want lots of veg. So I end up doing 1 bell pepper per chicken breast. You don't have to. If you wanna trim that down a little bit, you can. But I'm telling you, the grilled, veggie, succulent portions of the kebab are what you want to make every mouthful as watering as possible. You know, we're perfectionists around here, so any that really just don't fit the bill, take care of them. Red onion. Again, just sort of making sure that you're gonna get plenty of decently large pieces to be able to properly skewer. We're gonna cut it in half, then into thirds, and in half again. And don't worry, I will break them up. But we're keeping this recipe simple, which is why it's a fave. Nice big bunch of Italian flat leaf parsley. I kind of like the beautiful leafy portions for garnish and things. You can really get away with because you're really using this for flavor and just, you know, color impact. You can get away with using just the base of the leaves and mostly stems where there's tons of parsley flavor that we oftentimes leave behind. Take it all the way down to within, you know, just where you're leaving behind only those most woody pieces of the stems. And then I'll maybe run my blade through once more, but that looks pretty good. Perfect. Gather that up, toss it in the bowl. Last but not least, we're gonna finish with some garlic. Love this big power hit of flavor. I'm gonna do 4 cloves, and then there's this little guy who's snuck in there, but it's fine. Just peel them up, and then you can grate them, but I'm gonna just press them because it's faster. It's summer style cooking, we're keeping it simple. Let me swap out my board to one I can sanitize when I do the chicken breast, and we're basically done. No, just kidding, there's like 2 more things. 4 lovely chicken breasts. Okay, so trim away any like sort of, you know, gnarly fatty pieces like this. Just a quick slice away. Sometimes it gets, there's like a little thicker tendon piece here that I'll trim out, but this is a lovely choice breast here. Cut it in half and then into nicely sized pieces. I try not to make them too enormous because I want them to cook fast so that they stay nice and juicy, roughly all evenly sized. And into the bowl. Oh, and just so you can see, damp paper towel under your board so it doesn't slide. Okay, now we're gonna add a nice glossing of olive oil. I would say we're probably gonna do at least a 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more, just to make sure that all the chicken is nicely coated. The veg get that nice glossing also so they don't burn too fast. Then we wanna go for some garlic salt. Generous, heavy hand on our seasoning here because again, this is mainly a marinade. Not all of it's going to actually adhere to the protein pieces themselves. So you want enough to make sure that what does stick is sufficient. Cumin. A teaspoon of cumin. You don't need to go too heavy on that because it does have a really nice amount of flavor and you just want it to be like a subtle little earthy undertone to the rest of the beautiful, vibrant, fresh mix we're making. All right, you want some regular salt. Remember, we already added that garlic salt, but we're gonna add 2 teaspoons more of sea salt and smoked paprika. The secret weapon when it comes to gorgeously flavorful chicken of all kinds. We're gonna go heavy. 2 teaspoons on the smoky paprika. Thank you for helping me clean out my spice cabinet. Get in there. And once you toss everything to coat, then I go in there and make sure to separate out all these little layers of onions, like Shrek told me. And you're really making sure that there's maximum flavor, coating the chicken pieces on all sides, massaging in that fresh garlic, that fresh parsley, coating with olive oil. That's it, guys. We're gonna let this sit. I try to do at least 20 minutes in the fridge, an hour. If you have the time, you can do it up to overnight, but it's such a flavorful blend, it really doesn't need that much time to marinate. Since my hands are already dirty right now, I'm going to skewer them right now, and then we'll let the skewers sit, and that just makes it that much faster when we're ready to grill. I have my skewers sitting in some salted water, and that helps make sure they don't scorch, but it also flavor infuses the chicken from the inside out with a little extra moisture. I always like to start my skewer with a pepper on the bottom because it just sort of holds everything on, and I have a very specific order. We go onion touching chicken at all times, very important. And then we just work our way up. As long as onion is touching chicken, you can't go wrong. And when you get to the end of the skewer, just cap it with a pepper in reverse. So you have a lovely, evenly shaped, wonderfully balanced kebab. And you want to end up with roughly 5 pieces of chicken on a skewer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Veggies in between each. And let this sit for, like I said, at least 20 minutes, ideally up to an hour. Just get that last little bit of flavor on there. Okay, you're gonna wrap it up nice and tight, no spills, and tuck it in your fridge. And one thing, if you wanted to keep this really rapid fire, you could do what I just did, make the skewers, let them hang out for 20 minutes and go straight to the grill. But if you're gonna put them in the fridge for any period of time, make sure you pull the skewers out 20 to 30 minutes before you are ready to cook them, because you want some of that chill to wear off, and that way the chicken will cook fast and evenly, and you will be left with the juiciest, most succulent pieces possible, fail-proof. Okay, it's time to grill. I think people get very intimidated by grilling, but it's probably the easiest cooking there is to do. It's really a set it and forget it moment. The chicken skewers will take anywhere from like 10 to 14 minutes. I'm gonna rotate them at least 2 or 3 times because I want all the sides to be really lovely and golden brown. I'm not gonna hover. I'm not gonna keep messing around. I'm not gonna try to flip them before they're ready. When they release easily is when the meat has gotten that lovely kind of crust, that char. Okay, onto the grill. Already nice and hot. Definitely want to preheat your grill. I just did this for 10 minutes. I didn't do that long, but leave it on a little longer if you want total uniformity of heat. It's on high. Oh yeah. Let them hang out. We'll come back in like 4 minutes. We'll give them a little turn, as long as they're not fighting us. And repeat until finished. We are 4 minutes in. These are looking gorgeous, golden brown. Turning this heat down just a little bit so that we have time to get more gorgeous color. I just bring some of the ones that were in the front to the back and vice versa. Turn off the grill. If you want to, just do a little pinch test. The chicken should feel pretty decently firm, like a little give still, because you don't want them dried out to the bone. And they are going to continue cooking as they cool a little bit. Let's stop talking about it. Let's taste. Beautiful, juicy chicken. Perfectly charred red bell pepper. Little red onion on top. I don't know, man. If you're trying to work more protein into your diet, if you just want an easy way to make a quick salad feel more robust, making a bunch of these on the weekend and then reheating for quick weekday lunch is one of my favorite things to do. Delicious. Perfection. Eminently shareable. You might not want to, but you should.